Well, I've come back to Larford, which is one of my very favourite fisheries. I've known Phil Briscoe here for absolutely years. He's developed this fishery. I remember coming here when the BAA had it, it was just one lake, but now it's 3 superb lakes full of fish, incredibly popular with matchmen because they get massive bags of fish. So why wouldn't I come to Larford? Because what I want to do today, I want to try and catch some bream, maybe some skimmers, maybe some roach. A net of bream would be nice. Could well get the odd interloper carp, which run up to 30 odd pounds in this lake, probably pushing 40 now. So we're going to have to see what comes along. I've set up 2 rods, a method feeder rod and a little cage feeder rod. The cage feeder rod I'm going to be fishing at about 25-30 metres. I've actually put a few bits of bait in. I've got some ground bait here, some Fjuka ground bait and some fishery pellets here, which we've added some sensate to colour them up and flavour them. I put about 10 of those in, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a chuck on the cage feeder, see if we can't get a few bites and see what's out there. Okay, what does the day hold in store for us? I'm going to use a little cage feeder, little wafter there, on a size 12 hook, that one there. Anyway, let's have a little cast. As I cast out, I'll break it just before it hits the water so it doesn't snatch. Hit the clip, bury the line, and then in my preferred method, I prefer to rest the rod on my leg like that and watch the tip direct. Just raise that up a little bit so the tip's just off the water. Now there's been no slack line, so if I get a bite straight away, I'll see it. I'm on monofilament today, £6 mono, and there's a bit more stretch in it than braid, so the skimmer bites can be quite subtle. But hopefully it won't be long before we get a little pull. Oh, in fact, that looked like a little tiny touch there. I'm just actually reeling ever so slowly to keep it tight. There's a bit of tow on the lake today. I've only got a 15-gram cage feeder, and I reckon I'm chucking into about 11 foot of water. And I've had a few preparatory casts just to sort of get a bit of bait out there. Probably 10 little mini cage feeder full of bait, a mixture of the 2mm pellets. There's a little pull. Don't think it might be long before we might get our first skimmer. Because I'm on pellet, probably less likely to catch the roach. If I put a maggot on, I reckon I'd probably get a roach. When you get something live and wriggling, it tends to attract the little roach and the perch. Oh, it's a tiny little tiny pull there. I don't think it'd be long. But it depends how they're having it on the day. With Larford, it's often gets better as the match goes on. I'm not on a match today, but I've often found the morning can be not as good as the afternoon. Whether that, I'm just going to give that a little pull, just move it ever so slightly because I've got reasonable long hook length on. See if that sometimes will induce a bite. And if I don't get a bite fairly quick, I'll bring it in, recast. There was a little tiny pull there, so that's telling me I think there's some fish out there. We'll have a little look. The bait's still on there. Got a little yellow wafter, and what I've done, I've mixed some of the ground bait in with the 2mm pellets or vice versa, so there's a mixture going out there. There's a little bit of muck on the hook there, so we just clean that off. And now I'm quite encouraged by that. Don't think it'd be long, so chuck to the same place, clipped up, rods it back, that's it, so it goes in nice and soft. Bury the line. As it's sinking, the line joins up, and then we are ready, poised like a Zorro, to catch our first fish. Keep that tight. Oh, that looked like a little tiny pool. Hopefully there's a few skimmers out there for us. All the time I just keep the left hand on the reel handle, just making sure it's always tight. I'm watching the tip and the line. Sometimes I watch the line where it goes into the water off the tip to see if it suddenly lifts. The skimmers can be quite shy. I don't think they're there in numbers yet, but that looked like a little pull. I think we may have a small one on here. Yeah, I think we've got the first one. Yeah, that was just ever such a small pull on that. Yeah, it's a skimmer. That's what we came here to catch. They may well get bigger through the day. So we'll take that. There's our first one. Excellent. We're off the mark. One little skimmer. Hopefully a few of his mates will join him later on. Maybe some of them big bronze ones. They'd be nice, wouldn't they? Right, so into full match mode. Even though we're not fishing the match, let's get it back out there. Squeeze it together. No need to rebait. Back out, aim at the caravan. That's it, that satisfying little plop. Bury that line. So you see it joining up there. Excellent. And again, re-engage the bail arm. And then be ready at any time, because sometimes they virtually have it on the drop. Now that was a very subtle little bite that time. We want a few of his bigger mates to come in and start pulling that tip around nice and steady. Winter skimmer fishing, really enjoyable actually. I've got an ounce tip on here today. When I go to a place like Shatterford for the roach, I often fish a ½ ounce tip on it. But the ounce should be fine here today because I'm not casting very far at the moment. But it will be better if I wanted to chuck it further. And I hook some of the slightly bigger fish that are obviously here. Some much bigger fish than that we can catch. So it might take a little while to get a few lining up. Wind's not too bad. It's not raining at the moment. There was a bit of a forecast for a bit of rain today. It's a sort of a typical, well, I suppose a bit of a spring day today. Not cold, about 7-8 degrees. No frost last night, which is a bonus. We had quite a frost last night. Not last night, the night before, and it was blooming cold yesterday. But today, it's really quite nice. Oh, looks like a little tiny pool there. We want some proper pools, that's what we want. At the moment I'm having to watch the tip quite hard to pick out the bites. I haven't tried maggots yet. I've gone straight onto the wafter at the moment. The little Fjuka wafter. I've got a yellow one on at the moment, but I might try a different colour one. Might even try a different bait. Might even try a couple of dead red maggots or red maggots which have got the sensate powder on them. And that looks a bit like a bite, but no, it looked just pulled slightly. Anyway, we're not with these skimmers. I'm not going to wait around too long because I want to keep casting, keep getting a bit of bait out there. And when they move in, they can be there in numbers and we can really bag up. Back out. Quite important to bury the line. There's a bit of a wind that's slightly into and slightly across. So what we want, some nice confident pull rounds now. That'd be nice. Get them really moving, get some of them 2-3 pound fish moving. That'd be great. At the moment I don't think there's a lot there, but there's plenty of time for them to move in. Plenty of time for us to make little changes. I'm going to stay on the cage feeder for the moment. Got the method rod set up maybe for a carp at a bit further range. See if there's any carp floating about. At some stage it's highly likely they'll join the party, and then we'll know all about it. Just lifted into another skimmer, but it feels a bit better, this one. Not massive, but it feels better than the last one. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Get a few more of his mates, and him and his mates will have a bag of fish. So I've resisted the urge to put a bigger feeder on. I've got one standing by. I don't know how much feed they want yet. So at the moment I'd rather have frequent casting with a smaller feeder than probably less cast with a bigger one at the moment. Doesn't spook the fish quite so much. And I think we're casting into relatively deep water, 10 to 12 foot of water at least. I'd say I've got a count of about 5. That here at the moment, 5 to 6. Which is quite nice water actually, that's quite a nice depth. Nice skimmery depth, but with all the rain we're having and the frosts, the water's cold, so the fish are not exactly going to be charging around. So it might take them a little while to get their confidence to get feeding properly. So at the moment I've sort of scaled my gear down a little bit, and I'm also feeding a few casters in with the pellets and the ground bait. That can get them hunting around a bit. That was definite bite then. I think I've got a fish. Yes, I have. Small fish. Oh, it's another skimmer. Can't always tell how big they are when you strike into them. But at the moment we're having a run of better ones now. This is more the stamp we probably want. Yep, that'll do us. Still got that yellow wafter on, not changed it yet. It's still okay. I don't see any real reason to change it at the moment. We're still eating it. Oh, that's a better bite. Oh, that was a much better bite. And a better fish. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it feels a bit breamy. Oh, oh, oh. You know when you get... We've had little bites today. Now we had a nice pull. Really nice pull. No rush. No rush. Is this going to be one of them bronze ones? And Bream. We love a Bream. Oh, the old nod, nod, nod. And in fact, this is the reel. I've got to change this reel in a second. Oh, yeah, that's a bit more like it. Got a bit more of a darker colour. Not quite so dark as dark. But look at this. That's more like it, isn't it? Come on. Come on. Come on. Whoa! Get in there, Pons. That'll do us. That'll do us. Oh, yes, he's got a bit of damage on that one, maybe a bit of cormorant damage, but I changed that brown wafter that my old mate Paul Black said about, and that was the result. Boom. Let's pop that one in the net. We're in the game, we're in the game. Get off. That's it, he's swimming into the net. Off you go, that's it. Well, that's a bit of a result, isn't it? Is it the casters that's doing making the fish come? Who knows? We'll carry on. We're doing what we're doing. So a little bit of pellet, a little bit of ground bait, a few casters. Top it off. There's my brown pellet on there by my hand. See, natural colours, natural Fjuka brown. Here we go. So is that is that the prelude to lots more? The bigger ones, I ask myself. Well, in fact, what I'll do, just relax, take my hand off the rod and do an Ivan. Just wait for it to pull. Nice conditions actually today. Just a nice ripple on the water. No frost last night. All good really. In fact, what's amazing, we're the only anglers on the water today. We're doing a midweeker today. I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm retired now, so I couldn't even tell you what day of the week it is half the time. But Tom said, let's go to Larford, shall we? Let's see if we can catch a few fish at Larford. In fact, I'll tell you what, where we mixed a bit of bait earlier, we got duck well behind us as well. And nice. So what I've got, oh, there's a little tickle on the tip. This is my skimmer size landing net here, and just to the left, I've got a great big net in case I hook a carp. Because I don't think these big lumpy carp in here will even get into my little net there. So this is my matchy net. Don't fish the matches anymore, but we call it our Ponzi's matchy net. Right, come on, let's be having a fish. They're definitely out there. They can be finicky, Bream, you know. I read about it on the matches, other fisheries where they go and they're catching well, and then all of a sudden you read in the boys' match reports, yes, I was getting liners, but could I convert it to a fish? No, I read that quite a lot, and it's usually with skimmers. They can be a bit pernickety. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to have another recast. I'm going to give myself another 30 seconds, and then have another recast. So come on, Tip, you've got 30 seconds or less to pull round. I might put a more brightly coloured one on, or I might even put some casters on, or even some of the sensate maggots. Let's have a recast. Okay, now it's an easy day for bait today, and that's one of the joys of these modern baits. So we've got ground bait, which is the squeeze ready sweet ground bait, and this is infused with sweet sensate anyway. And there's nothing harder about this than literally pouring it into your bait tub, right? And that's ready to use. You saw earlier loading the feeder. That's ready to use. Straight out the packet, you can squeeze it, and it squeezes. Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. And you can unsqueeze it. It's just perfect. Comes out the feeder, fizzes, great stuff. So that's the sweet sensate ground bait. We've got the fishery pellets here. These are the 2mm fishery pellets we got from Phil. What we've done with these, as you can see here, these are the fishery pellets, and now you see the difference in the colour. We've got bright yellow now, and that is the sweet sensate juice. And what we've done with that, we've literally got this here. We filled that with water. We put sweet sensate in, which has coloured all the water up bright yellow. We've then poured the pellets into it here, from here. Left them for 5 minutes. Give them a good old swish around, they're all wet. And then we've drained the water off, which you can put into a little bucket if you want to keep the water to do some more. And then we then leave those pellets for about half an hour, and then they're perfect. And that's what we've got here. Perfect pellets, perfect ground bait. We're in another skimmer, another nodder. Nothing like a nodding skimmer, is there, eh? Nice soft rod. Don't want a stiff rod for this game, actually. You want a rod that's got some bend in it. And although this was designed as a carp feeder rod, it's really quite soft. It's got power in the butt. Hang on, let's get this one in. We just changed to a pink un, a pink wafter. I was talking to Tom, and Tom said, get on the pink un. So I've gone on the pink one because the water's quite coloured. I thought, well, maybe, you know, if they're picking it out by sight rather than smell, then maybe that's the way forward. Of course, slimy little devils, aren't they? Here we go. On the pink one. On the barbless hook. Easy to unhook. Keep the pink one on. And in fact, the tip went round. Me and Tom, we were just talking about flapjacks, because he gave me a couple of small pork pies, and I said to him, I've still got a pork pie left, Tom. Anyway, I didn't get this body by not eating. So there we go. Carrying on the way we were before. Caster, ground bait, 2mm pellets, pink and on the hook, recast, chuck out, see if we can catch another. Now they're getting a little bit bigger now. I'm hoping we're going to get one of them 3-pounders in a minute. That'd be nice. That would be nice. At the moment, it's steady sport. It's steady without going mad. We're just picking them off, which is always nice. Just steady sport. Regular bites, not having to wait too long, but they're not coming straight away. And what bites we're getting are quite subtle. They're not big tear away bites. They're just little pulls. You've got to concentrate and watch, because they're not pulling the rod in. It's hard to know how many fish are out there at the moment, but I'm playing the patient game at the moment, not giving him too much feed. It's just regular, little small feederfuls of caster, ground bait and 2mm pellet. And what combination is best? Not entirely certain, so I might put more casters in a minute and less ground bait. We'll just have to wait and see. Play it by ear. Well, hasn't it been a wet spring so far? One of the reasons we came on this page, it was nice for filming, it wasn't too muddy. It seemed desperately wet. So what we want now is another nice pull round. In fact, what we'll do, should we do an Ivan Marks and just leave the rod to fish on its own, not take the hand off the rod. I sometimes wonder about that when I've got my hand on the rod, hand on the reel, whether the fish can actually feel the sort of vibrations, you know, or the pulse, your pulse through the rod. I know it sounds a bit loopy and daft, but I've often wondered that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the old Ivan trick. I can't light up a fag because I don't smoke. But Ivan used to literally sit on his hands, didn't he, catching those with and bream. That was back in the days when they used to use gozzers on the hook on size 20s and stuff. Anyway, just had a couple of little indications then. Just want to wait for it to be a bit more positive. Still doing it, little tickles, little touches on the tip. If a skimmer takes it, a proper one, you should just pick it up and cruise off with it. It'd be nice as he's going around on the deck. That's bream fishing. Sometimes you just got to sit here. They come in spells sometimes. Sometimes you get little mad spells, and other times it all goes quiet for a bit and they scootle off. Even the swans are getting disinterested with me now. They've probably eaten all the pellets, I expect. Oh, I'm catching bream, but I'm wondering if I've changed to the method with a short hook length and a good wafter, would I catch any of those bigger bream? At the moment, this probably feels like the first or second best fish I've hooked today, but I think I'd like to try the method over the same line. And what I haven't done, I've got to measure out exactly onto the clip how far out I am, and then I can put the method over the same distance. Well, that's a better fish, isn't it? That's a better one. Yeah, I'll take that one. That's a proper brim.
Maybe one more cast on this one.
Yeah, maybe one more cast on this. Well, so I've been putting the casters in, Tom, and I don't know if that's making a difference. I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? It's not doing any harm, is it? And I've been trying to put more caster in the feeder than the ground bait in the pellet. Bit of a thing. Just get a bit out there, you know. That's what we want, a few like that, isn't it, really?
Great,
Then, yeah, that's what we want, a bream feature then, you see, that's what that'd be nice. I think it's getting stronger.
You enjoy that flapjack, the old pal?
I'm gonna give this flapjack some action, yeah.
Honestly, don't hold back.
I'm not holding back, Tom, I'm going for it. Here we go. Oh, it looks awesome. Oh, it's a big boy, isn't it? Wow. Oh. I'm getting, it's a bit like a fine wine, isn't it? You know, I'm getting fig. I'm getting a bit of prune, maybe, a bit of plum. Sort of syrup. There's probably butter in there, I expect. I mean, look at it. Look at it. Hello, quack, quack. Hey? Oh, you'd have a bit of that, wouldn't you, boy? Hey. That's cruel, that is, isn't it? That is cruel. If I give him that, that'd be a terrible waste, wouldn't it? I'll tell you what I'll do, Tom. I'm a nice guy. You can have some more Fjuka pellets, yeah? Well, not often you come on filming days and features and you get fed flapjacks, pork pies. What other little aces you got up your sleeve, Tom? Hey? You what? Mango, that's right, I had mango, didn't I?
Yeah.
You know, you'd have to say, they do look after you, these boys.
These Fjukas.
These Fjuka boys, they know how to live, don't they? And Dave Preston's just come along to me and he says he's catching 4-pound bream, he is. Oh. He's there again. He's there again. I was going to change the method, Tom, wasn't I? But it's always hard to change off a method that's working. I think I'd catch him on the method, though. I do think I'd catch him on it. I've just changed my reel. I've actually put this reel. The other one's got a bit of a crankiness to it. It's not working very well, so I've changed to one that I can turn the handle better in. That's it. Look at that. See that pink un? That pink un? That's what Tom said to me. He was telling me about how I think he was a second or third on the golden rod, and he was telling me he was over the other bank. He got pipped. He got pipped at the post. Somebody had some late carp to pip him at the post. Oh. Gutted or what? Big money, these matches these days, aren't they? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have one more chuck with the pink un and the cage feeder. But then I will probably have a chuck on the method over the same line just to sort of see how it goes. So first job, just put a bit of ground bait. Thing about hooks, they're always good at catching you, aren't they? Have you noticed that? Does it happen to you too? Happens to me all the while. If it can catch somewhere, it will. A few more casters. Bit of that, bit of that. Right. Have another chuck, then I might, if I'm lucky, get a few bites on that flapjack. Plop. The reassuring sound, plop. We love a good plop. Got a little skimmer there. We just persuade him it's time to swim down into the bottom of the net. Off you go. Off you go. Okay, so what tackle do we need? You don't need a lot of gear for this game. I've just brought two. Well, I brought several rods, but I'm going to use two today. These two rods here, one's a 10-foot rod and one's an 11-foot rod. They're not much difference. They are free spirit carp feeders, the 11-foot one and the 10-foot one. On the 11-foot one, I've got a slightly heavier tip on that one. I've got a 1 ounce tip on that one, and I'm using a little 40-gram method feeder with a short hook length to a size 10 hook. That's a QM1 hook with a band on it, and that will have a little wafter on that one. And on the other rod, which is one of my favourite setups, is literally a little mini cage feeder. And this one here is only about 20 grams. It's on a running setup there, so it can go up and down the line. It runs down to 2 float stops and then a twisted boom, and then my hook length is attached to that. So that's my setup there, purely running on there, purely running on the other, nothing to snag up or catch fish on. Now, on that note, while we're waiting for a pull on the old skimmers, time for a little cheeky go on the flapjack. I think it's time to make some changes. I think there's going to be a game changer here. So what I've done, I've just popped along to see my young David, and I've got some 8mm sinkers, some Fjuka sinkers. And what I'm doing, because I've got the method rod out, because I said I was going to have to try it. I'm going to go with the pure 2mm pellets, the ones we dyed up earlier and flavoured. And then I'm going to put them on the method with the size 10 QM1 hook with an 8mm sinker. So that gives me an option to catch those bigger bream, but also maybe a carp. And that is the way forward, I think. Except that hasn't loaded quite right, so I'm going to redo that one. You see, if you make a mistake and it doesn't work out right, you sort it out, don't you? So I've got that in there. Here we go. But I think it's that time of day. It's getting on in the afternoon now. That's better. That's better. Oh, oh, oh. I'm getting excited. I've measured up the distance I was casting before against the other rod. I'm just going to pop that over exactly the same line. Try not to take my cable and perfect. Perfect. The splash could well attract the carp in as well. So now, got a slightly different outfit. Got the 11-foot carp feeder rod, 1 ounce tip in it, a Daiwa reel. This is one of those mini pit reels. Got some 8-pound monofilament line on it. And now, let's just see if we can get some bigger fish on that bigger wafter. Because we were on the small ones just now. I was on these little 6mm jobs, but we've gone on to the 8mm, so we've got a slightly bigger bait, bit more attraction, bit more visual. So what we want to see is woo, and a 20-pound carp for the camera. Wouldn't that be nice? So see how my rod tip's nicely just resting on the water there. With this setup, being the method, I'm expecting the bites to be really positive. I'm not looking for little tiny indications on this. This is the sort of outfit you'd use if you were going to somewhere like Boddington and you were fishing for a few pools, as they say, and you're watching the rod and it just goes nicely round. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sit on my hands here. In fact, what I'm going to do, probably the best way of inducing a bite is have a bite myself. A bit more flapjack. In fact, these seem to be everlasting flapjacks. Very nice too. Very nice. I didn't get a body like this by not eating flapjacks. You too can have a body like mine. That's a thought, isn't it? The young bucks of the team, Tom, Ben, I reckon they go to the gym every night. There's me and Tommy. We don't do stuff like that anymore. Too old for that stuff now. In fact, I'm hoping to bump into Tommy soon because Tommy was at Preston's when I was there, and I was at Corham, and we used to have some lovely get-togethers. So I haven't seen him for a while, but I see he's still out there catching fish and winning matches, which is good. Now, come on, Tip. What we want is that nice big round pool, don't we? That's what we need. I've got the pink sinker on now. Let's see if we can catch you one of them big ones. And we've still got the other rod there, ready in reserve to go back out the way we were fishing before, but this time we're sitting waiting for a bite a bit, really. So anyway, I've had a couple of fish on the method now, but I'm going to persevere with it because I'm feeding those 2mm pellets now on the method. No ground bait, no casters. I'm going to try and see if it brings in those bigger bream. And you never know, there might be a carp turn up with it as well. But on the gear I'm on, if a carp does turn up, then I've got a better chance of getting it out. But I'm also trying to hope I can catch one of those bigger bream. They're definitely here. And there's a lovely bite. That was a proper bream bite, that was. Proper bream bite. Proper pull round, which you'll get with the method because they are hooking themselves against that feeder. That method feeder. Whereas the cage feeder, the bites were much more cagey. Cagey bites on the cage feeder. That's a good one, isn't it? Anyway, let's get this one out. Oh, it's a nice little bream, yeah. So that's 3 fish now on the method. All a nice stamp. That'll do. Yes, that'll do nicely. So we're going to reload with the pellets. See if we can, maybe the 2mm pellets, it might be starting to drag the better fish in. There's a bit more feed from there. Whereas the ground bait, the casters and the pellets might be attracting smaller fish. So with this, I'm thinking we'll go all out on this method, try and catch one of those bigger ones. And you see that feeder is proper crammed with 2mm pellets and the sensate. And it's going in with a bit of a splosh because it's a heavier job, heavier feeder altogether. 35, 40 grams. And the carp might be hearing that thinking, hello, what's going on here? I quite fancy my chances here. It's that time of day when the fish should be really feeding. There, a bit of bait out there now. There's enough bait there to keep a few fish interested. Love it. Love coming to Larford. Always a great day. And actually it's been nice to see how well the old Fjuka products have worked today. They've enjoyed it. The fish are liking it. Swans like it too. So what we need now to finish the day is a few more nice bream and maybe a bonus carp. We've had a brilliant day. Thanks to Larford again. Until we see you again, tight lines, happy Fjukaing.